Hello, good day everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to share to you a story about Hansel and Gretel, a retelling of the Grimm's fairy tale by Blair, illustrated by Claudia Wolf. Once upon a time, a poor woodcutter lived with his wife and two children at the edge of a forest. The little boy's name was Hansel, and the little girl's name was Gretel. The woodcutter's wife was the children's stepmother. One night, the woodcutter was so worried he couldn't sleep. "How can we feed the children when there's not enough to feed ourselves?" he asked his wife. The woman had a wicked plan. "Tomorrow, we'll lead the children into the forest and leave them there. We'll be rid of them." "I can't do that," cried the woodcutter. "Then we all died of hunger," his wife said. The woodcutter finally agreed to the plan, but he felt sorry for his children. The children heard the wicked plan. Gretel cried. Hansel said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything." He crept outside and filled his pockets with shiny white pebbles. The next morning, they all walked into the forest. Hansel secretly dropped his pebbles one by one. "Go to sleep," the woman told the children. When they reached the center of the forest, "We'll come back for you later." It was dark when Hansel and Gretel woke up. When the moon rose, they followed the trail of pebbles out of the forest. They reached their father's house in the morning. The stepmother was surprised to see them. "We thought you were lost and never come back," the wicked woman said, but their father was happy they were home. Soon, the cupboards were nearly empty again. "We have to get rid of the children to save ourselves," the woodcutter's wife said. "We'll take them even deeper in the forest." The woodcutter was unhappy, but he followed his wife's wishes. Hansel and Gretel heard their parents talking. "Don't cry, Gretel," Hansel said. "Leave this to me." But when Hansel tried to go outside for more shiny pebbles, he found the door was locked. The next morning, the children were given scraps of bread. Hansel crumbled his bread in his pocket. As he walked into the forest, Hansel left a trail of breadcrumbs so he and Gretel could find their way back home. When they reached the deep forest, they built a fire. "Sit down and rest," the wicked stepmother told the children. "We'll come back for you this evening." The children waited and then fell asleep. When Hansel and Gretel woke up, it was dark. They tried to find the trail Hansel made, but the birds had eaten all the breadcrumbs. Hansel and Gretel were lost without the crumbs. The children were tired and hungry. When they saw a pretty bird, they followed it to a cottage. The cottage was made of gingerbread and candy. The windows were made of sugar. The children started to eat the house. Then the door flew open. An ugly old woman came creeping out of the house. "Oh, you dear children, come in and stay with me," she said. Hansel and Gretel went into the house. The old woman gave them milk and pancakes with apples and nuts. After dinner, the children went to sleep into two beautiful white beds. The old woman seemed friendly, but she was really a wicked witch. She killed, cooked, and ate anyone who came to her house. The witch looked at the sleeping children. "This one will make a delicious dinner," she said, nodding toward Hansel. Before the children woke up, she carried Hansel into a little cage and locked the door. The witch shook Gretel and said, "Get some water and cook something for your brother. When he's fat, I'll eat him up." Gretel cried, but she had to do what the witch ordered. Hansel was fed the best food. Gretel was given only scraps. Every day, the witch made Hansel hold out his finger. She was checking to see if he was fat enough to eat. Witches can't see very well, so Hansel fooled her by holding out a bone instead of his finger. The witch wondered why it took so long for Hansel to get fat. After a month, she said, "Gretel, get some water. Fat or thin, your brother will be my dinner tomorrow." Gretel cried as she got the water. The next morning, Gretel had to light the fire. A little later, the witch said, "Crawl in and see if the oven is hot." The witch planned to close the door and bake poor Gretel inside. Gretel knew the witch had an evil plan, so she said, "I won't fit." "Silly ghost," said the witch. "The opening is even big enough for me." When the witch poked her head into the oven, Gretel gave her a push and shut the door behind her. The witch burned in the oven. Gretel let her brother out of the cage. "Hansel, we're free," Gretel said. They found boxes of jewels in the witch's house. Hansel crammed his pockets full of the pretty stones. Gretel filled her apron. Hansel and Gretel made their way home. Their stepmother had died. The woodcutter was happy to see his children back. They would never have to worry about money again with all the jewels they found in the witch's house. The end. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something from my story. Till next time, bye!